Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's the end of April and things are happening in the garden I'm really excited about, and what you see right here makes those frozen fingers that I experienced in the middle of November last year planting all of my bulbs so worth it. But I'm gonna flip the camera around and give you a bit of a walkabout and show you what's happening right now, and there's a lot going on. I'm gonna start out in the side yard garden, and it's one of those moments that makes all of that hard work so worth it, because everything that I visualized in my mind is actually happening. And it's gonna be kind of rough. It might be a little rough because I'm gonna run and gun and just call it out as I see it. All right, let me flip it. Before I take you up here, which is what I'm dying to do, I wanna show you this spirea. This is double play doozy. Look at the spring foliage on that. I have that at the front of my border here, just in front of my kindred spirit oak. The emerging leaves are kind of a ruby red color, last summer it was constantly in flower and very, very pollinator friendly. So I'm really loving the new color on that. And then my Tamukiyama Japanese maple is starting to leaf out a little bit, ever so slowly. But the star of the show right now is this little combination here and then up top here. But this is a species tulip. This is called Shogun. So this is a combination of the Shogun species tulip and Muscari latifolium. And I'm in love with this combination. So I planted this last fall. You might have seen that video, and it was the middle of November, absolutely freezing outside. And I got all of these guys in place, but look at the color. I love the purple of the Muscari and the orangey yellow colors on those tulips. Really beautiful. And then I've got a Scarlet O'Hara peony just in here. And then look at this magnolia. This is Elizabeth magnolia, guys. I planted this. This was container grown. Planted it myself probably 9 years ago, and it has just been a rock star. And it was really small. It was like in a 5-gallon container, and it is looking absolutely gorgeous. And then just on the corner here are those Greenwall Spire Crabapples that I planted. They're from First Edition Shrubs and Trees, and those are in flower, as is my Bonfire Peach, which I wasn't too sure I was keeping, but now I'm kind of leaning towards keeping it with the flowers. Let me get in a little closer on the Bonfire Peach before we move on to the crab. Look at those flowers, you guys. And I love the way the flowers just form so tight along the trunk of the tree, the branches. Let's move down. Let's go have a look at the Greenwall Spire crabs. Look at, oh my gosh, they are just covered. So if you're looking for a small space crabapple tree, which is exactly why I planted them on the corner, because I kind of want to form a wall on the corner of the side yard garden here. So let's get a little bit closer. And the buds start out this really blush pink. Look at those flowers. It's absolutely gorgeous. Very narrow growth habit, so it's meant to be taller than it is wide, of course. It's a perfect small space option for if you're living in an urban environment or suburban and you don't want to infringe on your neighbor's property. This is a really nice option. I think this gets to be six feet wide, and then, oh gosh, I'll have to check, maybe 12 to 15 feet tall. But I've got 3 on the corner here. But look at this little, when all of this fills in, look at how everything just blooms together. And that is key when you're picking your plants. You want to look at bloom times, because if you've got a color scheme you want and you want it all to happen at once, you do want to know what the time frame is for bloom times. But look at that. I cannot get enough of these Greenwall Spire Crabapples. So when that fills in, oh my goodness, I absolutely cannot wait. I just can't stop looking at this, you guys. All right, let's go over, oh, and this is my Tianshin Seven Suns tree, which is just filling in. I cannot get over the growth on that. And the Sprabolus just below it, that's our prairie dropseed, is just starting to green up. But so exciting when you see things coming to fruition, even though this is a new garden. It's a year old. I finished planting it last spring, and not bad for, just right out of the gate. And then look at this hellebore beneath my magnolia here. I think this was a member of the wedding series from Proven Winners. I can't remember for certain, but look at this. I got a tray of plugs years ago that Walter's Garden sent me. And these hellebores, they are workhorses. They They work so hard and are in color for so long, and just such an interesting plant, and fairly, you know, they're semi-evergreen too for the winter time. They just look awesome. But look at that view, you guys. Oh, and I gotta cut back. That's that puppy tail grass, pennisetum. I need to cut that back. We'll get to that later. But let me take you over this way. This is the little kidney bean garden on this side, and the daffodils are looking gorgeous. I just dropped in, so, you know, for some reason, people that live in the neighborhood love to take their dogs in the morning and walk them past here. And there was another conifer that was here, and for some reason they would walk their dogs right over to it and pee on it. It killed it. And so I just put in a polar gold thuya or arborvitae from Proven Winners. Found that at Home Depot the other day, and I thought that is a perfect option. And the new growth on it is kind of an orangey golden color, and I thought that would be very, very interesting with everything else going on in this bed. And then the daffodils. I've got so many different types of daffodils in here. I first started with Ice Valley's daffodils and just kept adding more and more and more. Then this little spot here, I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with it. This is a carex. This is called Blue Zinger. Beautiful blue-green grass. You want to make sure, you want to be careful with it though, because in certain parts of the country it's very vigorous. It'll take over. So, and I think it behaves here because it's in mostly shade and it's beneath a maple tree. So I think the dry conditions and then the lack of sunlight probably keeps it in check. But I had to cut it all away because it just, you can see all the green growth coming on in there too. So I cut it back because it's got a lot of dead in there. Cut it back. It just looks like it's spilling out of the bed and is a nice edging plant, but I might take chunks of it and move it to another part of the garden. And then I've got some lungwort here. Huge bumblebee favorite, but look at the foliage on that. Really nice plant, does really well in dry shade. I do have to water it occasionally. It will melt out sometimes, and I'll come in with, cut it back, clean it up, and give it a drink, and it just keeps flushing out. But those flowers are so cute. And then the false leaf spirea. Look at the color on that one. That is a variety called Mr. Mustard. It's got great color. All right, let's come around this way. Oh, and this is my Tina crab. These guys are gonna flower soon. Look at all the buds on that. It's a perfect little small space crabapple tree. Let me back up here and show you what that looks like. And then, so this is the Tina crab, and then this is my prairie fire crab, and that's bright magenta flower on that one. And then continuing on this way, this is ivory halo. This is a variegated dogwood with the red stems, and I do need to clean that up quite a bit. And then continuing, let's go in the backyard and we'll see what's happening there. I haven't cleaned up as much as I would have liked to by now back there. I've had other things going on, but I'll show you what's happening and how things are looking so far. And that is the only rabbit that I don't mind in the garden. But I've got a lot of alliums coming up in here. That is Globemaster. And then over here is the Viburnum trilobum. This one, that was the red-winged viburnum. It's leafing out. Oh, and look at all the flower clusters on it. And this is the one where the flowers look very, very similar to hydrangea flowers. Very difficult to tell them apart. I've got so much cleaning up to do in here, but I haven't cleaned up the patio yet. I've been accumulating plants. I brought up a lot of my cactus and succulents from the basement. That is the lemon squeeze pennisetum that I need to clean up too. And let's continue this way to the veg garden. My blueberries looking healthy. I've got a lot of, these are flowerful smooth hydrangeas from First Edition Shrubs and Trees, and I need to cut them back. This was a temporary holding space for them until I figured out where I wanted to put them permanently. So these are going to be planted in the next week or so. And then my blueberry bush is starting to bud up in the raised bed. I'm getting more of those. I'm so excited about this bed because I've got lots of things that are going to happen in here. And then I did some planting in here. I did some direct seeding. I've got to thin things out in the raised beds here. You can see all the radishes. And then I had a critter come in and just decide that they were gonna, you know, mass destruction in here and just start digging for whatever reason. So I'm gonna have to deal with that as well. And then coming this way out of the veg garden, I want to show you this little grouping here. This is Boom Chocolata geranium. Perfect little mounds of foliage. Look at the coloring on that. And they're beautiful in all stages. So this is in full sun. It gets this really nice purpley blue flower that's very pollinator friendly as well. And I'm just realizing I keep forgetting this. This is vanilla strawberry panicle hydrangea, tree hydrangea. And it's been leaning for a couple years and I keep forgetting. It's bugging the heck out of me and I need to straighten that up. So I've got some cleanup to do over here as well. And then this little grouping back here always looks so beautiful. The thalictrum is coming up. I got a couple different varieties of thalictrum in here. Can't wait for that to flower, but look at against the fence. This is a combination of caramel heuchera in here, and then leucojum or summer snowflake. This is Gravetide Giant. And I really do love that plant. Such a happy plant. And then we're back in the side yard garden. And then something I keep forgetting to do, this is the Aruncus Chantilly lace. I need to move that. And that is my late April garden, and I thought I might as well end the video with this spectacular display. It just makes me feel so happy that all of that work that I did back in wicked cold in November paid off, because just looking at this is a thrill. And to have it blooming at the same time as my Elizabeth magnolia and those greenwall spire crabs and the bonfire peach, it's just everything to me. And I think the most important thing, you know, when it comes to timing is really pay close attention to your bloom times. They're on your packages for a reason, so that you can kind of coordinate when things might come into flower. And there are a lot of variables that play into that, because weather has a major effect on that. For example, last year, everything in my garden flowered 3 to 4 weeks earlier than it did this year. So we're having a really cold spring, but we also last winter had really warm days in January and February. So everything was off around here, but I think we're back on track, and I am just thrilled with how things are unfolding in the side yard garden and the entire garden. So, and I'm thrilled that you took the time to watch this and support my channel. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.